So does the chef have what it takes to become a generational company? Meaning, could they 10x, 20x or more from where they're at now, both when it comes to stock price and revenue? Well, that's what we're going to talk about here on the PlantStock channel. And if we haven't met yet, my name is Jesse. And if you want to be part of this channel and get more news regarding Tattoo Chef, Beyond Meat, and other plant-based companies, make sure to subscribe. And I would truly appreciate an early thumbs up since it does help spread the video. Thank you guys, truly appreciate your help. If a company in my eyes is supposed to become a generational company, there needs to be 5 criteria that I want to look for to be able to conclude if there is a possibility that it could actually become a generational company. And those are as follows. Do they have a grand vision, which we're going to talk about in today's video. And I'm going to do 4 other videos talking about the other criteria, which is going to be, do they have a superior product? Do they have people who actually love their product? I mean, are they raving about this product? Do they have an advantage? And the 5th, do they have a strong CEO and management team? But tonight's focus is going to be, do they have a grand vision? So let's talk about the vision. Well, we talked about it a couple of times on this channel, and that is, what kind of vision, what's the purpose of this whole company? And part of it, as we know, is to focus on the Gen Z and millennial generations. And why is this a good vision to have? Well, as we know, the Gen Zs and especially millennials right now, they're a career-driven population, but also a population that really cares about sustainability, given that they're going to remain on this planet longer than many of us. But sustainability is not the only thing that interests them. It's also their own health, given that they are more informed than other generations when it comes to whatever you put in your body has a consequence in one way or another, right? And obviously it also has to do with animal rights. And all of these aspects are things that Tattooed Chef actually focus on, meaning that they're perfectly situated to actually cater Gen Z and millennials, right? Because not only do they care about these different aspects, but they're career driven also, meaning that they don't have the time to stand in the kitchen to create healthy cuisines every day. So if you are catered when it comes to a healthy alternative that is good for the planet, sustainability wise, and good for your health and animals, then this is going to be the perfect product for them, right? But another perspective that I think is important when it comes to the Gen Zs and millennials is their investment strategies, right? What kind of companies do they invest in? And I took a look at a couple of articles here, and we have one here from the CNBC, how Gen Z can invest and make money from the dramatic rise of its own generation. And again, the interesting thing about the Gen Zs are that according to Bank of America, a report there said that they're the most disruptive generation ever, right? Meaning that they're not going to be the typical standard investor. And they're going to want to invest in growth companies and disruptive companies. And it's also important to understand that they're going to be the great wealth transfer because they're going to make way more money than former generations. And also interesting is that they're not only going to be making a lot of money, they're also going to influence and impact both millennials and Gen Xers in terms of what they buy, considering that they are usually people who are the influencers today, right? If we look at YouTube for one, we could see that most people there are, I would say, around 20, 25. That's my experience. So I'm really oldie in this game. And for them, when they take a look at a company, they're not like traditional investors just looking at the valuations, right? They're interested in the narrative, stories, and themes. So that's really important. The stories. What's the company all about? Where did they come from? What are they striving for? What kind of vision? That's what we're talking about here, right? So that's important. But as we know, this is a generation that's going to care a lot more about sustainability than former ones. And that's in different ways. And that's why they're going to be interested in investing in companies like the Chef because it has a lot to do with sustainability. But it's also then more important and interesting that when it comes to the consumption of meat, they're going to be the first cohort where the majority of the people adhere to some kind of meat restriction. But not only the Gen Zs, also the millennials, right? They're both very interested in investing in sustainable alternatives, right? So if we take a look at a study that's been done by the Morgan Stanley Institute for Sustainable Investing here, we find out that 86% of millennials are interested in impact investing, and millennials are twice as likely to invest in funds targeting social and environmental causes than the general population. And when we come to the Gen Zers, express hope that responsible investing could improve sustainability outcomes, so 72%. And I think it's also important to highlight, I've noticed that there's quite a few YouTubers out there who's been talking about different plant-based companies and stocks and saying that what they worry about, or what could be the worry anyways, is that this is maybe just a fad diet. And I imagine that there are a lot of people, a lot of meat lovers out there who feel the same way, that this is just a fad diet, it's going to disappear. And if that would happen, of course, investing in these companies wouldn't be that smart, depending on when it would disappear. But I've read several different reports on that, and also personally, I've been plant-based for about 20 years now, and the only thing I've seen in the last 10, 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, and this last year is that this is a diet, this is a way of living that is just growing bigger and bigger. Not necessarily only fully vegan then, but flexitarian, plant-based, eating more plant-based. So I think this is definitely not a fad. And according to a report, it is here to stay. It was a report that was made by the Carey Group to back up the health elements of its arguments. 71% of consumers view plant-based protein as healthier than animal-based protein, the research showed. So I think we don't need to worry that this is just a fad. It's here to stay, and it's going to grow bigger and bigger, in my opinion. But there is also another important aspect why I do believe there are signs that this could be a generational company in the future. And that is the actual CEO, Sam Galletti, what he said in the latest Q1 report. Listen to this.
We are building Tattooed Chef to be a generational brand. It is important we invest back into the business now to lay the foundation for future success.
So there you have it. He was talking about moving into other types of food categories, taking over shelves, right? Ambient food, moving into refrigerated food. They want to be a generational company, actually stating that. So for me, that's a really good sign. So folks, you got to ask yourself, do you resonate with their vision? Let me know down in the comment, because obviously that's important when you invest in a company like this. So if we are to conclude what I just talked about, they have a clear-cut vision on what people they focus on. And I like that because they focus on a group that is here to stay for a very long time. People who are more interested in eating plant-based more than any other generation, but also a population where convenience plays an even bigger role given their busy lifestyles. Products that are GMO-free, organic, plant-based is in, and it's likely that this will be the case in the foreseeable future. And this is something that the chef offers their customers in various ways. But it's also a huge bonus that a lot of these future investors care about investing in companies like TTCF, which fits the profile perfectly in many ways. This is an aspect we shouldn't forget about, because that means that sooner or later we will have way more investors eyeing TTCF. And again, having a CEO like Sam Galletti, having the actual vision of becoming a generational company, it's not a lot of other CEOs that actually talks about that. That gives me great comfort. It reminds me of other great CEOs like Ethan Brown in Beyond Meat, Tesla's CEO Elon Musk, Jack Dorsey, and Steve Jobs, to name a few. So the question is the chef here to stay? Well, you'll find out in the next couple of videos when we try to determine if this is a generational company. Folks, let me know down in the comments. What do you believe so far? Could this be a generational company? Please, interact a little. Well, folks, that was it for today. I truly hope you got some value from today's video. And if you did, make sure to smash that like button. And if you want to keep getting more videos on the Tattooed Chef and other PlantStock companies like Beyond Meat and the Very Good Food Company, to name a few, make sure to subscribe and don't forget that bell button. And as always, this was not financial advice. This was just my own thoughts and opinions. It's important to do your own due diligence and invest safe. Have a great Monday. Hope to see you soon. Peace out.